Finally, it has come, the official announcement. The San Diego Padres, they signed Yuki Matsui to a 5-year deal worth $28 million. The initial report out of Yahoo Japan was a 4-year deal worth $21 million. So it was kind of right in terms of like the AAV, and it was 1 year off. But Jeff Passan, if we're asking, okay, who is the number one reporter? Most reliable. It's not done till this person tweets it. It's Jeff Passan, and he tweeted it today. So there we go. 5 years, $28 million. Deal is done. Includes opt outs after the third and fourth years, as well as an injury clause that can convert the fifth year into a club option, which I like the fifth year club option part, but opt outs after the third and the fourth year, this is what AJ Preller continues to do. And I get it, the player side of things, they want the opt out because they want the flexibility. Like, what if Matsui has 3 really good years and then he can go get money after the third year? Like, it makes sense to have the opt out there and to have a couple of opt outs. The Walker contract, obviously, right? There were opt outs there. Nick Martinez, Seth Lugo. Like, I understand from the player side. And maybe this is the only way the Padres could have gotten Yuki Matsui for 5 years, is to give these opt outs. But it just puts the Padres in a spot where you suck. All right, you can stay. You're really good. You can go elsewhere and get paid more money where the Padres can't afford you, or they don't want to give you that, you know? So I guess that's just part of doing business. But I feel like there's some times where the Padres don't have to include an opt out, and they could just be like, okay, we're here 5 years. We know he's going to be here for 5 years. We know this guy, player X, is going to be here for X amount of years. But that's just the way that some of these pitchers, maybe it's the player side, like I just mentioned. Maybe AJ doesn't want to do the opt out, but the players insist on the opt out. I don't know. It just feels like AJ likes to put the opt outs in there when I don't know if they need to be in there all the time, at least from the team perspective. And then the club option is for something that is more than what the team is comfortable giving that player anyway. So why is the club option that high? I don't know. But getting back to Yuki Matsui here, 5 years, $28 million. So the AAV ends up being a little bit more, I believe, than what the 21 over 4 was. 28 over 5, 5.6 mil per year, which that's not going to be bad if Yuki Matsui ends up being a high leverage reliever. He now joins a Padres bullpen that obviously includes Robert Suarez, Tom Cosgrove, Steven Wilson, Adrian Morejon. I mean, you'd want him to be in there, but you can't rely on him, unfortunately, in terms of health. Just look at the track record. Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, Enyel De Los Santos. These are guys that are going to be in this bullpen for the Padres. Stephen Kolek is a Rule 5 guy. So we'll see if he ends up making the roster. If he doesn't, he has to get offered back to the team that he was on previously. But as I talked about in one of the episodes this week, when it was reported that Yuki Matsui was going to the Padres, this is a guy that is not very tall, but he has a lot of upside, is what it seems like. Very talented, pitching in Japan, Nippon Professional Baseball. He began pitching when he was 18 years old there. 236 saves, was the youngest guy to get to 200 saves. Career high, I believe, this past year in saves. 2023, a 1.57 ERA. Yeah, career best, 39 saves, 0.89 whip, 72 punchouts in 59 games. Last 3 seasons, 2 ERA, sub 2 ERA in all 3 of those seasons. So, yeah, I mean, you look at those stats and it's like, yeah, bring him aboard. The Padres, they needed bullpen help. Sign me up. There is the question, though. What is he going to do at the big league level? Like, there's the question with Yoshinobu Yamamoto with the Dodgers. There are questions with, Jung-Hoo Lee, not Japanese player, but Korean. There were questions about Ha-Sung Kim. What's the transition going to look like? There's a track record of these guys performing well at the big league level and being able to adjust, but there is that question mark. I'd rather give Yuki Matsui a 5-year deal like this, could end up being 5 years, 28 mil, than giving $300+ million, 325 to Yamamoto, who seems like he's a better pitcher and he's a starter, but giving him 12 years when he hasn't pitched in the big leagues before. I mean, I'd rather go the 5-year route here with Yuki Matsui. And AJ's had a pretty good track record of bringing in relievers that are from not America, from Japan. Robert Suarez was pitching, I believe, in NPB, brings him over. I know they ended up giving him a big contract, and the first year of that contract did not work out well. We'll see what happens here in year two, but he's expected to be a closer. He had a really good year in 2022 for the Padres. He does have a track record, regardless of if a great closer is leaving, a new one, he's able to bring him in for not a lot of money, and that guy ends up going to the All-Star game, right? You look at Kirby Yates and Brad Hand. Hader was, it's Josh Hader, but you get my point. Not like the biggest name brings them in, and they end up performing pretty well. This guy is not supposed to be the Padres closer. He was the closer in Japan. He's not supposed to be the Padres closer. That is supposed to be Robert Suarez. I wonder how the Padres are going to use Yuki Matsui. Is it going to be for matchups? Are they going to be comfortable giving him the 7th inning? And then is it going to be Enyo De Los Santos in the 8th? Where does Tom Cosgrove and Steven Wilson slot into this? We'll see if they make any other additions bullpen-wise. They brought back Luis Patino, claimed him off waivers. If he's not a starter, is he added to the bullpen? So it's going to be interesting to see how this bullpen ends up looking on opening day in Korea against the Dodgers. So Yuki Matsui, 5 years, $28 million contract, has some nasty stuff. Go look at some highlights of him. Nasty stuff. I believe it's the splitter that is like his go-to, like, amazing pitch. A lot of movement to it for sure. So go watch some of those highlights. If you want like more thoughts on this, when I reacted to the initial reporting that he's coming to the Padres, I did that show earlier this week. You can go check that out. But that's it. Thank you so much for the time. Yuki Matsui, 5 years, 28 mil. There's opt-outs because it's AJ Preller. Give me your thoughts. Do you like this move? Do you like the money? Did you wish that it was a shorter deal? Are you okay with it being 5 years? Are you okay with the opt-outs? Let me know in the comments.